Good morning. It's Friday, April 19th. Thanks for joining us on Up to the Minute. I'm Stacee Hawkins, HCCTV media producer and an adjunct instructor here at HCC, with my co-host Montrose Cunningham, HCC's Northwest Community Outreach Coordinator. He's going to share how to find us.
Good morning, Stacey. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully, thank you, especially since it's Friday.
I was just about to say you had me at Friday. That's right. We're live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, and on YouTube. We're also on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and LinkedIn, and HCC TV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Now, today we're visiting with one of our favorite guests from the truck driving school, which has received an all-important grant to help keep the world running. Martin Garsee, Director of Transportation Training for HCC's Automotive Center of Excellence. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to talk to you in about 10 minutes. But first, as we recognize April as Parkinson's Awareness Month, it's particularly meaningful to me because I'm a person with Parkinson's disease. I'm really excited about how technology is being used to help improve the lives of patients. In fact, I have an app right here on my watch right now. Joining us today is Brianna Hood. She's a clinical specialist and physical therapist for Rune Labs. Welcome to the show, Brianna.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So let's start off with the basics. Tell us a little bit about what Strive PD is.
Sure. So Stride PD is a product of Rune Labs. Here at Rune Labs, we are leveraging data and technology to really try to help transform the neurologic disease space and the care for neurologic diseases, specifically for people with Parkinson's. So our product is Strive PD. It is a free app that you can download from the Apple App Store onto your iPhone. And it's a care companion tool, meaning that it allows you to share your Parkinson's journey and your day-to-day life with your movement disorder specialist, your neurologist, anyone on your care team, and even caregivers, friends and loved ones. Not only that, it's a very individualized app. We do know everyone with Parkinson's is different. Symptoms are different, side effects of medication are different. There's a saying, if you meet one person with Parkinson's, you've met one person with Parkinson's because it's so vastly different across the board. So it's a very individualized app to give you individualized insight into your specific disease progression and just allows you to be able to see what makes things better, what makes them worse, and gain a sense of control over the disease, and really helps you to become part of care management of your disease.
Now, I know that some of the ways that I've used it are to track my medications, make sure I'm taking them on time, and then also to see how things like when I'm eating, when I'm exercising, kind of can affect that. What are some of the other ways that you've heard that patients have used Strive PD to kind of help in their management?
Those are great examples and definitely some ways that our users utilize the app. Something that makes our app very unique to a traditional just tracking app is the use of the Apple Watch with it. So the Apple Watch did receive FDA 510(k) clearance back in June of 2022 to track two things for people with Parkinson's. It will track tremors and it will track dyskinesia. And that happens automatically just by wearing the watch. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to log it. It just happens, which is so amazing that you don't have to spend time and energy thinking about those things. So that is one way you can see every day. You get a very nice curated graph where you can see how your symptoms fluctuate throughout the day. Things like what you eat, activity that you're performing, stress can all affect those symptoms. So you can really start to get a handle on what makes them better and what makes them worse. Like you said, you can track your medications, which a lot of patients love, a lot of clinicians love because it helps with compliance of medication because we do all forget sometimes to stay on track. So you can put your medication schedule in there. It will then remind you either a ding on the phone or the watch to say, hey, it's time to take your medication so you can stay on track. We also have some great features like activity, which is one of my favorite things I'm sure we'll get into. So you can keep track of the different physical activity and exercise that you are doing. You can also track other symptoms you're having besides tremor or dyskinesia. So, like I said, everyone's individualized with what they experience. So, there's things like leg cramps or anxiety or balance issues, all sorts of things that you can easily, with a few clicks, track each day to see how they're improving or changing over time. And again, this all can also be sent to your clinician so they can see this as well and really get a handle on what you're experiencing outside of the clinic. There is a lot of different features like the sleep portion of using an Apple Watch. So you can see how much sleep you're getting, how often you wake up through the night. And then we also have mobility metrics, which is exciting. You can see your walking speed, step length, since we do know that gait and walking and fear of falling is a big concern in the community for Parkinson's. So it allows you to keep tabs on that as well and see how you're doing with your gait.
And it's just amazing. I mean, I've got just this little thing right there, and I put it on in the morning, I take it off at night, and it is giving me so much information. It's just incredible. And it blows my mind the times that we're living in. Now, I know that with your background, exercise is so incredibly important in Parkinson's. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the features related specifically to activity.
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite topics, of course. So we do know exercise is important for everyone. I'm sure everyone has heard that in the past, but specifically for people with Parkinson's. Research has been showing that exercise is the only known disease modifying therapy out there at this time. And then research is even getting more exciting in showing that it can slow the progression of the disease and the symptoms. So very, very important to be in a continuous, exercise regimen, whatever that may be, whatever you enjoy, especially once you get diagnosed with Parkinson's. So we definitely wanted to highlight that into our app and make sure that it's a feature that you can utilize to help you along with your journey. We have an activity tracker. So every day you can put in exactly what activity you've been performing. If you do have the Apple Watch, you can use the Apple Workout app on the watch. It is synced with the Strive PD app. So as you record your workout on your watch, it will automatically pull into Strive PD as well. So you don't have to do any double logging, which is nice. You can, share this information again with your clinician. It's always great to get those brownie points for doing lots of activity and staying healthy. And then it's even more interesting is that we have some partnerships with some great community in the Parkinson's world. So we have LSVT Big. That's a specialized therapy for people with Parkinson's that's performed by physical therapists and occupational therapists. So myself, I'm LSVT Big certified. It's fantastic, fantastic program, has great results. You can now log that in our Strive PD app. We have a nice branded logo there. So not only can you say, hey, I'm doing my physical therapy, you can say, I'm specifically doing my LSVT Big exercises.
Awesome. I've done Big, and that is incredible. Big really changed my life. We've got a couple more minutes left, so let's talk a little bit about how to get started with Strive PD.
Absolutely. Yes, great question. So, like I said from the beginning, it is completely free. There's no subscription, there's no in-app purchases, completely free for you to download. You just go to the Apple App Store and type in Strive PD, all one word. You'll see our little logo show up. It's that blue and green S, and then you can download and create your account. That's all that's required. We do talk about the Apple Watch, but you don't need an Apple Watch to use Strive PD. You can use the iPhone only version. You just won't get that cool tremor and dyskinesia data, but you will still be able to track your meds, your activity, symptoms, all sorts of things with the app.
Now, I do want to give a plug for your customer service folks, because some people out there might be thinking, okay, this sounds really cool, but I'm horrible with technology. I can't even program my coffee maker. Let me tell you, if you just call up or send an email to the Strive PD folks, they can help you out step by step. So what's coming up next with Strive PD? What are some of the things that are out on the horizon there?
Yes. And just as another little thing to the customer service, we also have a website, strivepd.com or strivepd.group, bring you to the same website. You can click on Get Started. We have some really great curated videos that will give step-by-step guidance on how to download the app. If you're new to an Apple Watch, how to pair it. All different videos on our features. So fear not, we definitely have created a lot of different pieces of information to help you along the way. And then we are here as well to help you if needed. In terms of some new exciting things coming out, we just released our insight reports, our Strive PD reports. They come out about once a month, once every 4 weeks to your inbox, to your email. It curates all of the information that you have put into the app over the past 4 weeks and then compares it to the previous 4 weeks. So basically a month-to-month comparison where you can compare all of your symptoms you've logged, your mobility metrics, so you can see if your walking has improved or declined over time, any kind of symptoms that you've inputted, and then also your activity levels, if they're improving or, declining a little bit over time, so that you can get back on track. So it's a really great feature, especially the mobility metrics. If you see that your walking's getting slower, maybe you can say, oh, let me reach out to my PT or let me reach out to my OT and do a little tune up to get myself back into shape before a fall or anything happens that could send you off track.
Well, thank you so much, Brianna. That's Brianna Hood, clinical specialist and physical therapist for Rune Labs. We'll have more info in our post after the show.
Thank you.
Montrose, who's up next?
All right, we are moving on to Martin Garsee, Director of Transportation Training for the Automotive Center of Excellence at HCC Northeast. Good morning, Martin. How are you?
Good morning, Montrose. Great to be with you this morning.
All right, glad to have you. So, as we said at the top of the show, I think your department has a little award grant that you've got to tell us about. Tell us about that. That's exciting.
Absolutely. Very exciting day yesterday. Earlier this year, we received an award from the Texas Workforce Solution, TWC, and it's called the JET Grant, which is Jobs in Education for Training. And so we were awarded $332,490. And what that did for us, it allowed us to buy 2 almost brand new trucks. And give you just a little bit of history. Think about your automobile, the last automobile you had or vehicle that you had, and the one that you currently have. How much more technology is in that vehicle than what you had on the previous one? Well, the trucking industry is a little bit behind in some of that technology, but it's rapidly coming. Give you a couple examples. The newer trucks have lane departure. They have automatic braking. They have adaptive cruise, that type of thing. The older trucks that we've had for a period of time, which have served us well and still great for parts of training, when the student got out on the road with their first job, many times they go to work for a company that may have brand new trucks or trucks that are a year or two old. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, kind of overwhelmed with the technology inside the vehicle. So we were able to buy 2 trucks with all the bells and whistles. And so while we'll be able to put our students through that for at least a couple of days and do some learning with them. In addition to that, we bought another simulator. It's a full motion simulator that's specifically for truck driver training that will have shortly, in fact, it's due next week, to be installed. And what that does is, as we know in Houston, you can't teach mountain driving, you can't teach snow and ice, you can't teach some other things that they're going to experience if they're an over-the-road truck driver. So in the simulation, you can program those things into it. And we were very fortunate. Commissioner Esparza, that was here yesterday to present the checks from TWC, he came over and we did a demonstration on a unit that we currently have and so we wrecked him in the truck on snow and ice and gave him that feeling of what, and sort the obvious thing there is the safety. We also use it for a lot of backing, to teach people backing maneuvers, backing the truck, a tractor trailer, there's an art to that, and it's a learning curve and that type thing. And so we're able to do it in a safe environment. A simulator gives you a lot of feedback. So we're very excited. By adding that fourth unit, we can teach 25% more students in our simulator, and then give them the latest and greatest of technology. So it was a very exciting day. Our Chancellor, Dr. Margaret Ford Fisher, was there to help with the presentation. So thanks to all that were participated in that.
Wow, that's great. So tell me just a little bit about like what the current demand is right now for truck driving.
The demand is still very strong. Not what we saw in COVID or toward the end of COVID. Things have kind of leveled out. The freight market's a little bit slower, but still companies are bringing in new people, and we graduate about 12 to 15 people every 2 weeks because we overlap our classes, and people are able to get jobs. We had 2 different companies come in this week to recruit students. We typically have 1 or 2 a week coming in. Of course, we provide a lot of information. And of course, nowadays people get so much stuff on social media and that. So the trucking companies are really big into the online. In fact, I heard a statistic the other day that said applications, 90% of all applications to trucking companies are done on a smartphone.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yep. That's the
yeah.
age we live in. So
correct.
If I'm a student looking to get into the truck driving program, what are the requirements like for entry level truck driving?
Well, you must be 18 years old in order to get a commercial driver's license. And that when you're 18 years old, you can only drive in the state. Of course, we live in a big state, so there's quite a few jobs, not as many as crossing state lines, but that's intrastate driving. 21 years old and older, you can drive interstate. And so you can cross, and that's a federal regulation, has been around for a long time. And they're doing some research now on the younger driver, and hopefully in a year or 2 we'll have some good information to where the right student or the right young person with the right training with the right company to work with could probably go over the road. And we hope that comes that the data that they're collecting now will reflect that at some time. But we'll say 21 years old and older, have a valid driver's license. As far as getting CDL, that's pretty much be able to pass a Department of Transportation physical and, of course, a drug test. Now, we go a step further and say, look, if you have some background of, DWIs or something similar to that, you might want to contact a few companies and say, hey, what is your, would you hire me if I had a CDL? And companies would do that. So we don't want to take your money and your time and then you're not be able to get a job for a period of time because of your background or whatever. So we have orientation. We talk to people, walk through those things. We don't ask personal questions. We just give them all the information. So there's a lot of grants out there. There's a lot of help currently out there. And so what we do is ask people to come into our facility. And in fact, today, while I'm talking to you, we have about 25 students in another room that we're doing orientation and talking about all the things coming up for class. So we're very fortunate. Houston Community College, our truck driving program, we stay full most of the time with a 2 or 3 month waiting list.
And speaking of what you have going on, any career fairs or anything like that coming up?
Well, we don't do career fairs as some do because our enrollment is continuous. In other words, we start classes sometime every week, every 2 weeks. And kind of a little side note, one of the things we do in addition to teaching people off the street, we have contracts with some of the largest companies in America and some local companies here that we do training where they hire the people and we do the training for them. So about half of our business is open enrollment. About half of it is training for specifically for companies. But we're doing I guess the next big event that we're doing here, we're hosting the truck driving regional truck driving championship for the Houston region. And what it'll be is that professional drivers, you'll have the Walmart, the HEBs, the FedEx, the UPS, the top drivers in this area will come and compete. And then the top 3 will move on to a state competition. I think it's in June. And then they'll go to a national competition. And so what it does, it adds a lot of pride You see the companies come out, really, the families come out and support their people. They get to show off their skills. You see a lot of kids out here. What does mom or dad do all day long that feeds us, makes a living, and they get to show off their skills. And so HCC, we've done it for about 10 years. We host the event here. It's open to the public. They do a written test first, and then the driving will start probably around 10 o'clock, 10:30 on May 18th. But we invite people to come in and talk to us. We have a lot of literature here. As far as a career fair, we have a lot of companies that are wanting to hire people, and we keep a list of all those and do our best to place each and every student in the best place possible.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. As we call it, the truck rodeo.
Correct. It's a big thing. I mean, when it gets to nationals, it's a big event. I mean, it's not as big as Houston Livestock Show Rodeo probably, but when you think about all the trucking companies that are Fortune 500 companies and the amount of time and effort that they put in to allow their people to train for this, and not actually delivering freight, but being able to train and then go to all these different events. And many of them, especially at nationals, they'll get to bring their families, and it's usually in a place that's really nice. And so it's just a great event to highlight the true professionals and the work that they do every day. Safety.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that. That's a good note to end on. Safety. Thank you so much, Martin Garsee, Director of Transportation Training for the Automotive Center of Excellence at HCC Northeast. And we'll have your info in the post after the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Montrose.
All right.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to some announcements. Graduation, that's coming up quick. Students can showcase their design skills by creating the graduation ceremony cover. 2 winners will get their artwork published in the programs and win an iPad. Now, if you're out there and you've been working on this, submissions are due today, 5 p.m. today, Friday, April 19th. To learn more, check out the post after the show.
All right. And our virtual studio exhibition annual online event, the online student exhibition, features work from all campuses in HCC's Spatial I/O Virtual Gallery. Awards are in art, drawing, graphic design, and digital media. The image shown is the 2023 Faculty Award winner called Do They Deserve It, with the children playing in trash-littered waters. The exhibition begins April 22nd and goes through May 3rd, and viewing link is spatial.io_gallery. The artist reception is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Wednesday, May 8th. And the reality collab, HCC Central, and that's free. There's no registration or anything like that. And you can check out the post after the show for more information.
HCC Central's got a lot going on. The Central Library Student Library Council, or SLAC, is going to be celebrating Earth Day with a special Sow and Grow event on campus. It's going to include some guest speakers, a poster showcase from our Vast Academy student winners, and more. That's going to be Monday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's going to be in Central Room 100 and 101. Check our post after the show for more details.
All right. And then Citizenship Courses, Fridays and Saturdays. HCC is currently offering citizenship courses at 3 campuses for only $25. Individuals can take U.S. citizenship preparation classes. So that's 6 to 8 p.m. Fridays through June 14th at the Eastside campus, or 9 to 11 a.m. on Saturdays through June 15th, Northline and Brays Oaks campuses. And you can check out the post after the show for more information.
Houston's Consul General of Mexico is inviting students of Mexican origin to participate in the Cultural Immersion and Volunteer program this summer. That's aimed at strengthening their ties with the country and providing an opportunity for volunteer work. It emphasizes regions that are the origins of Mexican migrants. Students travel to Mexico for 3 weeks. Their airfare, local transportation, accommodation, and meals are all covered. Check the post after the show for more info.
All right, and fall registration is now open. Registration for the fall semester has now officially started, with regular and smaller semesters offered in a variety of programs like All of HCC's courses, they're offered online anytime, no established class meeting time unless listed, online on a schedule where meeting time is set and course meets online, hybrid, where there's a lecture class meets partially face-to-face and partially virtually. In person, good old school face-to-face courses with traditional meeting patterns and various campus locations, and then hybrid lab with laboratory/studio courses. And to learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
Now, coming up on our next show for Mental Health Monday, we're spotlighting BEAR, which stands for Be a Resource. It's vital in providing indispensable support to at-risk and CPS-involved children. And we'll also welcome the return of the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft. So thank you for co-hosting with me today, Montrose. Really appreciate it.
Always enjoy it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here on Up to the Minute. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.